how you feel about Bruno Mars owing allegedly owing $50 million to MGM for back gambling debts?
I think when you sent this yesterday, I was befuddled. I thought it was a typo. I think there's a couple good personal finance lessons, and I'll let you guys dive into that. But on a trading perspective, Shotty, you brought it up. The house is always going to win. So number one, know how many hands or how many trades you're going to take in advance. You have to know your risk to reward ratio. And then thirdly, it's a lesson that people need to know. Sometimes people will give you money to find a way to take it back from you. Remember I said last week, as you get rich, everyone's going to find a way as soon as you walk out the door to take money from you. It just happens to be the people that he is doing business with. So in trading, risk to reward is really key. Knowing when to walk away, not being on leverage. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And then you have to know when to be able to walk away. It's sad, but if he's making 90 a year, he owes 50, allegedly. How long will he have to be in those residencies to be able to pay that debt off, and how much interest is on it? So from a trading perspective, those are my top lessons, but I want to swing it back to you guys on the educational side. Like, what personal finance tips would you give from his situation?
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Bruno Mars, man. One of the greatest
entertainers for sure.
Performers and entertainers, musicians of our generation for sure. And legendary in every aspect of his career. I think it speaks for a few different things. I mean, of course, the discipline and not having vices, that's beneficial, right? When you reach high levels of success, then you have higher levels of temptation. And I never forget, like, even when Tiger Woods got caught cheating on his wife. Remember, this was like 15 years. It was a long time ago when he first got caught cheating on his wife. And then I was like listening to like ESPN radio, and one of the guys was like, why would he cheat? He had somebody so beautiful. Like, why would he cheat? I would never cheat on my wife. Well, I'm like, well, you never had the opportunity to cheat.
Jason Whitlock.
Come on, bro. It's one thing to say things until you actually are put into that temptation. So with great, like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. With great power and a lot of money come great temptations.
Mm-hmm.
Great temptations. And the more money you get and the more stature you get, the more temptations you get.
Yeah.
So be mindful when you're on your journey to success that discipline is needed, because nobody's above destruction on any level. When it comes to relationships, don't exceed the limits.
Tune into this week's episode of Blackout.
That's a fact.
Don't exceed the limits. That's very important. So that's one aspect. But then the house always wins. And how I look at it is that it's no different. Like the movie Casino, they said they keep them playing long enough, they're gonna end up losing.
They'll give it back.
That's in life, though. That's in life. So like when the Japanese guy in the movie, he won like millions of dollars, and then Sam Rothstein, they did something to his plane, so his plane couldn't leave. And then they comped him. They gave him a free room. They gave him champagne. They gave him some whatever he wanted. They just kept him playing. Then lo and behold, he ended up losing everything. So in the music business, what used to happen is that Lee Cohn give you a check for $1 million, and your first stop was to Jacob the jeweler to buy a $500,000 chain, right?
With fake diamonds in it before the Mosenites.
So the ecosystem kept the money coming back. It's a boomerang philosophy. We'll give you the money, but you're gonna give it back to us. And that's extremely important to be mindful, because it's like, okay, you're getting paid $90 million a year. That's a lot of money. Well, 50% of the money is gonna go to taxes, right? So now you're really getting paid $50 million. Now, when you deduct your lifestyle, housing, all of these different things, you might be netting $20 million. So if you owe $50 million, so now we got you 2.5 years of free labor, really. Right?
Or don't have another shutdown and you start staggering the shows.
Exactly. So now we got anywhere from 2.5 to 4, like you said, depending on your frequency of shows, 4 years of free labor. You're going to give that money back to us. And just the irony of having a residency in a casino making so much money in the casino,
Mm-hmm.
for the casino and for yourself, but then owing the casino. My thing is, how do you even get to the point where you owe $50 million?
That I think,
right?
I'm glad that's the part I wanted to start with, because I've actually supported this show. I've been to the Vegas show twice just because he is one of the greatest performers of any generation, and the math just didn't math for me, right? Even at that number, if you're getting 90 million, right? The state tax in Nevada is 4%, federal tax. I'm just trying to figure out, 25%, 26%.
I don't think there is any state tax in Nevada.
Yeah, well, sales tax.
Sales tax.
Sales tax. Right. So I'm thinking like, all right, that's a percentage, but you still up 20, right? What I didn't take into account when I originally saw that post was that it's kind of like what you said. Sometimes vices in life can take a hold of you, and if you don't have the discipline to control them, they can.
But if I put the vices in your room,
but the vice originally wasn't gambling.
Sprinkle. Like,
if you followed his career, his original vice was drugs, right?
I don't know if it was a vice. The boy got caught out there with coke.
No.
That's not alleged. No, that's happened. He got, but I'm not going to say the full-fledged.
No, but he's
Eddie Kane.
No, I'm not saying he's
recreational.
No, he talked about his struggle. He's talked about his struggle very candidly.
Recreational.
But that vice, you're right. You change that vice, and now it becomes the addiction to performing, right? Like that's an addiction. Like the entertainment business becomes the addiction for him.
Have to.
Well, now you're in Vegas. Now there's another vice that's and there's temptation there. At what point, right? Because I'm just trying to map that. If he made the $90 million, that was the contract, and I think they broke it down to what he was doing, like almost $2.5 million a show, right? And he's there. I mean, he did like 50 shows in the first year. I'm just.
I mean,
what kind of gambling are we doing?
But they probably giving him lines of credit, million here.
And like even Shannon said he had a friend who watched him gamble and lose 17 million in one night. Also,
17?
too, if you in one night. Now, if you add up the interest, okay, let's be honest with the audience and each other.
Okay.
We friends. If you give me 90, Shawty, you figure out a way to get 320 back or no?
If you gave me $90 million?
If you give me 90.
Okay.
By InvestFest, you making 350, ain't it? You don't think MGM figured out a way? Like, yo, we're gonna get this boy 90, pack the house, inflation going up. This is the crazy part. Probably even in this contract, let's say the tickets were selling for 200, tickets going for 500 now, and you're still working off the 200.
They were 500, bro. They was pricey.
It's a few ways how the devil is very deceitful. So as I said, don't exceed the limits and don't make enemies with people that are extremely powerful. There's another way to look at this situation. One way is who okayed him to get in debt 50 million. Another story is who leaked the story. So another scenario is that he owes 50 million and said, I'm not paying. And they say, okay, well, now we're going to publicly embarrass you.
Yeah.
And now everybody's going to know that you're a degenerate gambler who owes $50 million. We're going to get the money back.
Clean image.
And the 50 was an estimate. They said it could actually be more, but that is true, right? Like if you do lines of credit and you don't actually have it, like, oh, put it on my book, and you never pay in cash, and they know you're good for it because you live here. At some point, you got to pay that bill.
Got to pay the mob. Come to the mob.
Got to pay the mob.
Everybody, look. Everybody has their vices. Nobody's perfect, but me, I don't gamble. I never gamble. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs because I'm very mindful.
We seen you shooting days, bro. We seen you.
I'm very mindful not to exceed the limits because these are games where few people win, the vast majority of people lose. The vast majority of the people that use drugs, it doesn't work out beneficially. It doesn't work out beneficially for them. Few people are Elon Musk, and they can occasionally take drugs and they can operate at a very high level and they change the world. But a lot of people are going to end up strung out.
Rare. Yeah.
Gambling, a few people's going to make a lot of money and you could become a professional poker player or whatever. But the vast majority of people that gamble are degenerate gamblers that end up ruining their lives, risking their families. They have rehab for gambling. It's a serious thing.
Addiction.
It's like
a real thing.
This is a financial conversation because you can learn about stocks and you can learn how to make money. But if you have vices, women can be a tremendous vice for men.
Yep.
You're going to everything that you work to build, you're going to end up losing it.
Could that might be a
Especially if you got a ginger on your arm.
that might be that might be a topic.
What?
Women as a vice.
It can be a vice.
Can be. I'm saying.
Of
Can
course.
be.
I mean, what you said is very
If
interesting,
you
right?
exceed the limits.
If you exactly said it could be a topic.
What's the limit?
No.
Wait for blackout.
Ocho Cinco.
He said one too close to none.
Got
What-
you. A pyramid.
Just jokes.
Jokes,
Just
please,
jokes,
please,
ladies and
please,
gentlemen. Written
please,
by 85
Please,
South,
please.
Cat Williams, and
And some more.
I'm Dave Hollister with it. Shout out to Dave
Oh,
Hollister.
boy.
One woman man. Like what you said is
Let's-
important, right? Because if you have that vice in gambling, and I'm glad you brought up stocks, sometimes that vice and kind of the habits and the discipline, not the lack of discipline in that vice can actually leak over into a different discipline. And so what you did in gambling, now you feel like, all right, I'm learning about the stock market. Now it leaks into that. And so that becomes the gambling itself.
That happens a lot.
Right. So like it's interesting. Like most people don't talk about that part of it. Yeah, I know how to gamble. I never really understood cards and anything. I never played them. But I can see how people would take risks and take chances and lead that over into another discipline and have pretty much the same results. Like you're going to lose here. And if you're not disciplined and if you're not structured, you're not educated in a certain extent, you're going to lose in that one as well.
well, that's why I always say gambling is a game of chance, investing is a game of knowledge. But
Mhm.
investing can become synonymous with gambling when you take the knowledge out of it and then you just use change. So if you're just doing daily options on X, Y, and Z pharmaceutical company because you just happen to get a hint from your barber that they're coming out with a new version of Viagra, well, that's gambling, right? And once again, this is the reason why most people that trade options lose. This temptation is something that is extremely interesting if you study human psychology, because in all of these type of situations, your percentage, if you play the lottery, your percentage of winning is very
low.
But somebody wins, somebody does win. So that they dangle the carrot in front of you and they make it look so appealing that you forget about discipline, you forget your rational way of thinking, and you throw all of that out the window and you take tremendous risks. And most of the time, you're going to end up losing in life. In life.
But
For everything, drugs, gambling on the stock market, going to Colombia to get your wife, you're going to lose. You're going to lose.
I
Passport.
can't find something in Cartagena, Medellin. What we do?
You can find something.
Nah, you definitely could find
What's the
something.
long-term ROI?
Yeah. Hey, shout out to all you passport bros. They killing y'all. Y'all better stop.
Shout
Y'all
out
about to take our tax money.
You're gonna lose.
The cartel and not playing. And I'm not joking. They killing y'all now. Stop.
You're gonna stop. You're gonna lose.
Yep. And let's be honest, the higher up you go, can we talk about this? The more discipline. Like even my friends, I mean, I'm surprised when you be going out, you don't have 8 of them with you. I'm like, that's lawsuit, finesse.
Them? Who's them? Who's them?
Some 3 pyramids, right? 3 threes, right? Like you can't spend all your money. And it's interesting from him to be in the music industry. These are record label games that the casino played with him. But the music industry, which the music industry is a spinoff of casinos, which come from the mob, it's the same business model. Great. If I know if anybody gives me 90, they're figured out a way to make 3 or 4x off of it before that wire hit.
It's a reason why casinos are in existence. They're not in business to lose money.
No.
Yeah.